Ahoy there! Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another video for Eve Echoes. Today is September the 10th, which means we have our third CONCORD Pass now released to the wild. And oh boy, this one, personally for me, I feel is a real doozy. We've been watching as the first and the second CONCORD Pass have sort of learned from each other's mistakes and adapted and increased. Now we've got the third one. I genuinely believe this is the best iteration of the CONCORD Pass to date. So in today's video, what I wanted to do is sit down and actually have a look at this CONCORD Pass, teach you how it works if you're not familiar with these previously. I know some of you obviously have watched the first and second, you've been around for those, but just in case you haven't, we'll have a brief look at how this all works and operates. I'm going to give some top tips of how to help complete this really quickly, because there's a lot of stuff I've learned over the past few months, and we're going to have a look at the actual rewards, both for paid and for the free version of that track, how those work out, and what kind of cool things are in the store this time around, because genuinely, I know I keep saying it, this CONCORD Pass really excites me. Like, the first two have been cool, this one has been is amazing for me. Anyway, let's jump right in on this one. So, usual stuff there. If you like the video, hit like, subscribe, do all that usual jazz. Come find me on Patreon, come join our Discord, and check out our Redbubble merchandise store. Right, all that said and done then, let's have a look at the third CONCORD Pass. So if we go into our main menu and tap on CONCORD Pass, we get this really cool little animation letting us know that we are in Season 3 now, if that's what you want to call it, tap to skip, and here we have the pass itself. Now I'm looking at this on Silent Rose, my my battle cruiser alt, just because I've already done most of this on my main character already. So, we have the actual pass itself. It is a 42-day pass. That is a 6-week pass. It's same as every single time so far. 6 weeks of CONCORD Pass for you to go through and actually get all of this. Now, basically, what you need to do is you start to level up. You can see here 0 out of 100. Once you hit 100 pass points, you level up and you can claim those rewards. So then once you get another 100, you'll hit level 2. Another 100, you'll hit level 3, so on and so forth. And you go up the pass here. Now, the items on the left-hand side of each node are the ones you get for the free pass. So at level 1 on the free pass, you'll get 28,889 skill points. Level 2, you will get one of these cool nanocore boxes. It's not going to let me actually have a look at it, but it's one of those ones where, there we are, nanocore material supply box, where you can choose some of the materials. You get random materials here. To upgrade nanocores and things like that. And as we go further up, you'll see that obviously there is a split between the paid and the free. Now, if we have a look at the View All rewards, the basic rewards are going to give you the Yule skin for the Merlin, which to me is a bit of a non-starter. This is not an exciting reward for me at all. I don't think many people are going to be excited to get a skin for a tier 2 frigate that they've probably forgotten even exists in the game. But for free, if you level this all the way up to level 80, you'll get yourself 500,000 skill points, 520,002. I'm not entirely sure why it's the and 2 there. There's a part of me that just gets confused by, like, when numbers are this specific. But hey, there we go, it's there for a reason. You'll get yourself 20 of the nanocore material boxes, which give you the materials you can use to upgrade nanocores. You'll get 21,661 CONCORD points, which we'll talk more about later when we look at the store. And you'll get 400 insurance points and 2 of these skin boxes, nanocore supply boxes for the Breeze 2. So it's the Breeze 2, it's the same Breeze nanocore supplies that we saw in the last season of the CONCORD Pass. I actually really like these. Yes, they're mainly for frigates. I think there are some destroyer ones in there as well. Let's just have a look. They might all be the frigate ones. Oh, there we are. Algos and that. So they're frigate and destroyer, and they're actually not bad at all. For a free core, they're pretty nice. And they're green, so you can freely trade these, put them into your corporation hangars, sell them on the market, etc. So if you find one you don't want, you can trade it with other people, like you're doing one of those old Merlin sticker albums for, you know, the World Cup or whatever it was that year. You can freely trade them, or you can just sell them on the market and get rid of them that way. Now, if you are willing to pay for the advanced CONCORD Pass, there are some other items that you'll get. You will get all of the free items as well. So in skill points, you're going to get another 960,000 skill points. That takes us up to 1.5 million skill points, which is a lot to earn over the space of 6 weeks. You'll then also get a Mammoth smoke grey skin, which actually is pretty cool. It's nice to see industrial ships getting a bit of love, and the Mammoth is one of the more popular ones, I feel. I actually have a Mammoth myself, so that's pretty cool that I'll get to use that. Then the Naga Panda skin. Now, this is so cool. I need to go into the actual thing and showcase this one. I liked the Panda skin. You may have remembered they had this on the Kanyue battle cruiser last month. This time around, here it is on the Naga, and that is just such a cool skin. Yeah, okay, it's pretty niche that it's just the Naga. It's not the Naga 2 or the Naga 3, unfortunately, but it is such a cool skin. Just, I love it. I love it so much, and I'd love to see more stuff like this, and I'm still hoping that one day we're going to get skins that apply to all variants of the same ship, because, yeah, this means that if you are flying a Naga, you get this really cool Panda skin that, if, like me, you'd be mad, you know, to not use it. Gonna cherish that a lot and want to use it at every opportunity, but as soon as you upgrade to the Naga 2 or the Naga 3, that's it, the skin's not usable anymore. I would like to see NetEase fix that, so that skins do apply to all ships of the same hull variant. Anyway, let's go back to viewing all other rewards. You're then getting another 26 of the nanocore supply crates, another 32,000 of CONCORD credits, and 1,104 more insurance points. There's a lot of stuff there. It's nice to see that as the passes are going on as well, it looks like you're getting more and more weight put onto the free side of things. There, as I said, the skill points, you're getting a good third, actually just over a third of the possible skill points available here on the free pass, and it's the same with most of the other things as well. I think actually the nanocores, you get more of them, no, not quite, 20 compared to 26. So you're still getting the majority of the loot out of this table is weighted forward onto the free side, which I think is pretty cool. It means if you do want to pay and support the game that little bit extra, you will get a whole ton of extra resources, but you shouldn't feel like if you don't want to pay for it, if you can't afford to pay for it, or whatever reason, you shouldn't feel like you're being left out. You're still getting a whole ton of awesome stuff there that, you know, ultimately you wouldn't be getting outside of this pass if it didn't exist. Now, in regards to how this is spread across the pass as well, early on it's all fairly well interspersed. You get the CONCORD credits, you get insurance points, you get the nanocore supplies, you get skill points, interlaced nice and, you know, all over the place, fairly randomly, all the way up to, I think it's about level 30, level 40, sometime around there. Yep, the skill points drop off a little bit at the beginning of level 30, and drop off again once we hit about 40, then they come back. There's a couple of periods where, like, the skill points just do seem to disappear for a while. Here it is, I think it's level 51. We get a little bit of a dry spell with none of the skill points, but a load of the CONCORD credits and insurance points and things like that. Very useful if you're looking at the items in the CONCORD store, which, oh boy, I can't wait to get to talk about that bit in a moment. It's, you know, it's fairly well interspersed. Again, it does cap at level 80, and once you hit level 80, you have received all of the main rewards. If you go above level 80, you will earn 100 CONCORD points, CONCORD credits, sorry, for every level that you go beyond. So if you hit level 81, 82, 83, 84, you'll get those additional 100 CONCORD credits there. Now, of course, there are a couple of different ways you can do this. If you want to go for the paid version, there are two tiers. There is the standard Advanced CONCORD Pass for 249 Aurum, and there is the Elite Partner Pass at 499 Aurum. So if we actually tap into that and head through to the store to look at what that works out at, it's going to tell you here that for the 499, you need to go for the $20 version. And that's not exactly true. You can do it a little bit cheaper, but it does work out best to go for $20. You'll have change left over at the end of that of 26 Aurum, which you can sell on the market for. I think that worked out about 30 million. At today's prices, so you're looking around about $20 worth of value there, £20 worth of value there to get that sorted. Obviously the 249 is a little bit cheaper, but you don't get the full 18 additional levels. Now, the reason to go for the 18 additional levels, because people have been asking about this, why would you do that? If you are just capping out weekly, then you don't necessarily need to. But if you don't think you're going to be able to cap the pass, then going for the full level 15 version of it is not necessarily a bad idea. It's going to get you all the way up to level 15 here, so you'll get a ton of skill points, a load of nanocore supplies, a ton of insurance points, and some CONCORD credits, etc., that you can use immediately. It also does give you a head start, and it means if you hit the end of the CONCORD Pass, if you are going to cap it out weekly and you get the bonus 15 levels, you will be able to get additional CONCORD credits as you go above level 80 later on. But that's really it. Honestly, I tend to put it onto my alts. I might, if I think there's something on my alts high up that I really, really want, I might get the advanced pass for them, just because, the elite pass for them, just because I don't get much chance to necessarily play those, whereas on my mains, yeah, absolutely, I just go for the standard version, and I will get those 15 levels over time anyway. Now, how do you actually get the levels? Well, if we come across 2 missions here, of course, as before, every time you log in for the first time each week, you'll get 50 points, which is half a level itself. We also have under challenges, there's one for login for 30 days, which is will give you a full 400 points there, and log in for 15 days consecutively. Now, if you get to 5 days and then you forget to log in, that does reset, so make sure for at least 15 days you are logging in daily to make sure you get that consecutive daily reward there. Those 2 alone are worth 8 Battle Pass levels, which is pretty sweet in and of itself. But then, of course, you have the missions themselves. Now, these can be anything from destroying NPC ships, claiming bounties, clearing a number of encounters, playing and winning games of faction war games, mining a certain amount of ore, building certain ships, that kind of thing here. Now, I wanted to say there are some tips I can give for this. If you are an industrialist, then obviously looking for some of the cheap ships to build is a good way of doing that. Tap the little reroll button here on the right-hand side, and it gives you this option here where you can refresh, and it will re-roll a whole load of new missions for you, so like Manufacture a Vexor, mine 24,000 cubic meters of Arcanor, complete 8 encounters news missions, or destroy 50 NPC ships. And then you can either just select that by tapping on change, or you can try again and see if you get something different there. Now, for me personally, I think there are two or three brilliant ways that you can level this up. If you are at all into mining, then going for the mining ones is a great way to complete this very quickly. I know a lot of people who will sit in a mining belt and actually complete the CONCORD Pass in literally one evening. For me, I'm not much of a miner, I'm very much a combat pilot, so there are 2 ways I do things. In my nullsec alts, so for example here on Silent Rose, where I fly things like the Hurricane Guardian, and the Hurricane Logistics, then going for Destroy NPCs is a good option. Obviously going for something like completing counter missions is a bad option. What I tend to do though, with like anything that I'm going to be using Guardians and things there, is I will just go straight up for the bounty ones. Basically obtain so much ISK from bounties, earn so many Concord points. Now, the Destroy NPC ships is a good option here as well, if you are a combat vessel. On Silent Rose, because, as I mentioned, I have a logistics, I tend to fly logistics and Guardian in addition to just flying straight-up combat hurricanes, etc., I tend to go for the obtain ISK from bounties. And basically, that means I can sit there, and if I destroy stuff, every bounty tick is going to go across and give me more of these level ups. And it doesn't matter if I'm not destroying ships, if I'm just sitting there in an encounter as a Guardian or as a logistics vessel, I can still get those bonuses. And you can see I'm re-rolling quite a few times here. There is another bounty one. There it is. There are 6 bounty ones that you can choose from, ranging from a 6-pointer all the way up to a 300-pointer. And that 300-pointer does require 100 million ISK in bounties, but it gives you 3 complete level ups on its own. That's very easy and achievable in a week. Now, when I'm doing this on a character, if I've got, for example, a low-sec character, what I might do, and have done historically, is have the Talwar to Assault, or the Dramiel or something that is fairly competent at clearing anomalies, encounters. I will set this to the 3 destroy NPC ships. There's one for 25, one for 50, and one for 100 NPC ships, and ones in the 3 that are complete news encounters, which I think are 8, 25, and 4. And basically what I will then do is I will fly to a system. For example, there is Sharu in Amar, where you can, if you stop in that system and you refresh your bounties, refresh your encounters, you may get up to 6 or 7 encounters in that one system. I usually set it to just down at advanced tier, so the ISK generation is not particularly great on it. But you can clear those encounters very quickly, very easily, very safely in something like a destroyer or a faction frigate, and just rack up those quickly. I will have those 5 to 7 missions. I will do all of those. Once they're done, the 30-minute timer's off cooldown, I refresh it, and I just go again. It's not a great ISK maker, but it's a very quick way to clear the battle pass. For me, though, I prefer this nullsec one of going in with bounties, especially since we now have the weekend bounty events where you get additional ISK for your bounty ticks. That shot up the battle pass in the last week at a ridiculous pace. Like Silent Rose completed that in one evening, his weeks in one evening. Now there is a weekly limit at the top right there, 1,150 points. That's 11.5 level ups, plus the weekly bonus as well of the 50 that you get just for logging in at some point during that week. Means you can theoretically get 12 levels a week, and that's kind of what you should be aiming at. 12 levels a week over 6 weeks, well, you do the math on that. 6 times 12, that's how many levels you're going to be getting, and obviously anything additional to that via the login 30 days, login 50 days, giving you another 8 levels from those, and if you go for the 15 levels of the advanced pass, then bam, you're going to be getting them too. I also absolutely adore this artwork in the background there. I've used it for the thumbnail for this video. Anyway, let's go now into the store and talk about what you can do with Concord credits this time around. So we come into the store, we go down to the bottom to Concord Pass shop here. Now, as you would expect, of course, we have nanocore materials back, the exogenous light recombination devices, the ship improvements, all this kind of thing, the cloud AIs, those are all there for nanocores, plus you've got the nanocore material deluxe box. If we tap on this here, and have a look at this. This gives you either interfering nanocores, offensive nanocores, or industrial nanocores. You receive it of your choice. So if we go in here, for example, the interfering nanocore material safe, we'll talk about these more in a moment, gives you these, signature recognition, Klein bottle structures, and signal streaks. The offensive nanocore box is the one that we've been using mainly for combat ships, and the industrial, of course, is the one for industrial vessels like the Covetor and things like that you may have a nanocore for. This new interfering one, though, is based on interdictors and interceptors, which do get a unique nanocore this time around. Now, I'm hoping you've already watched my video on the Dark Halo nanocores for the faction ships. These are here. Faction Battleship Dark Halo nanocore box, core optimal supplies there. If you come into these, you can see there it is, the Nightmare, the Bargorn, the Rattlesnake, the Vindicator, and the Macariel, and this is a select. You buy that box, and then you select which of those 5 nanocores you want. Same for the faction cruisers. This will give you a choice between the Phantasm, the Ashimu, the Healer, the Vigilant, and the Cinnable. And then finally, the faction frigate Dark Halo. This is the one I'm super excited about. Succubus, Cruel, Worm, Daredevil, and Drumiel. Oh boy, I'm going to be going straight for this to try and get myself that Drumiel nanocore that I can start leveling up and actually be flying a Drumiel again. Ho ho ho! Happy, happy days. Now, these are fairly expensive. 37,500 for the faction frigate Dark Halo nanocore. Absolutely, you need to understand that that is going to take a lot of Concord credits. You may need some from your previous Concord Pass, but certainly grind through those, and if you can, you know, get those, especially going toward the end, you're going to need those for the faction battleships. You're not going to be getting multiple of the faction battleships, I'm afraid, but then again, they are big, expensive cores. Also note that the boxes, like the materials inside them, are untradeable, so remember that you cannot pass these between other characters. I would like to eventually see NetEase allow it to be transferred between characters on the same account, but for now, they are just completely untradeable. If you try and sell a ship with one of those fitted, or in a box in the cargo hold, it will ask you to remove it before you do it. Just like with prototype rigs, you can't put them in corporation hangars, you can't put them on contracts, you can't put them on the market, you can't jettison them. There is no way to trade them. Please stop asking, oh, does this work, does that work? The answer is no, they are not tradable. Not tradable. Not tradable in any way, shape, or form. We then have the Empire Battleship Dark Halo cores. This is for the Armageddon, the Scorpion, the Rock, the Dominix, and the Typhoon. These, again, are very similar to the ones we saw before. They're going to give you weapon damage, tank amount, or flight velocity. I don't know why you'd ever go for flight velocity on a battleship, but there we go. The others are decent choices. Empire Battlecruiser, if we open this one up, this will give you the option of a Harbinger, Oracle, Drake, Naga, Brutix, Talos, Hurricane, and Tornado. So it's giving you both varieties of battlecruiser this time around, which is pretty cool. It's nice to see a purple nanocore here for the Tornado, the Talos, the Naga, and the Oracle, plus obviously another one for the Hurricane, and I do love my Hurricanes, so yeah, I will probably go for either this one or possibly, Heresy, the Harbinger one, because I've been flying them recently as well on Silent Rose. But for Silent Rose, yeah, the Hurricane or the Harbinger seem like obvious choices there for nanocores. So we've had a look at the Empire Battlecruiser. We then have Empire Cruiser Dark Halo, which covers the Arbitrator, the Mala, the Blackbird, the Moa, the Celestis, the Thorax, the Bellicose, and the Rupture. So it is notable that that does not cover your basic attack cruisers, the Omen, the Stabber, the Caracal, and the Vex. So those are not covered here. It is the sort of Covert Ops and Interdictor line, and the tanky ones. Now, I just want to check here as well with the ones that are interdictors. Yes, they are the disruption cores. So things like the Celestis, the Blackbird, the Arbitrator, and the Bellicose are based around their E-War and interdiction variants here. You can either get a 21% additional range to your warp disruptors, 21% additional range to the interdiction sphere warp scramble range, which is awesome. That means the bubbles are humongous here. I actually think as well, with how that's written, I'm wondering if that's Interdiction Sphere Launcher and Warp Scramble range. If it's both of those, that's pretty powerful. Does it say if I long press or tap on it? No, it does not. Anyway, we'll have to check that one. Either way, if it's just making the spheres bigger, that's awesome for gate camping and interdiction. If it also increases the warp scramble range, that's pretty awesome to be used on anything. Finally then, 21% increase to warp disruption field and warp scramble range. Again, that's the Hictor bubbles, the ones for the cruisers. Again, you might be wondering, well, why on earth does the Celestis get a bonus there for the sphere launcher? It's because obviously it's a nanocore. Nanocores have stats that just apply to the name. For example, an Angel Veteran Nanocore gives you bonuses to either missiles or turrets, and you can put it on ships like, say, the Hurricane, the Tornado, the Typhoon, the Cyclone. Obviously, the Cyclone and Typhoon, you're never going to put a turret bonus on it, and the Hurricane and Tornado, you're never going to put a missile bonus on it. But hey, it's an option there, because that's how Nanocores work. They just give you those choices. So there we have, if I go and have a look at, again, the Bellicose version, and you'll see it's the same kind of thing there. It's sort of that disruption, so it's giving you additional warp scrambling, warp disrupting, interdiction spheres, that kind of thing there. Whereas on the other side, we're getting the Thorax, same kind of things there. These are the disruption ones. Worth having a look at those stats before we go through. We then have the Empire Destroyer. Again, these are based around the interdictors. So, for example, a Thrasher interdictor gives you that disruption Dark Halo core and looks amazing and badass. The Empire Frigate ones here, this is based on the Interceptors. Now, it's actually nice to see that Interceptors are getting a nano core that is for their actual interception role, rather than, hey, combat. And I'm hoping this might be precluding a nerf to Interceptors to actually bring them down from, oh, hey, if you've got some spare skill points, just fly an Interceptor, because it can do everything. But again, people have asked, why on earth does an Interceptor need Interdiction Sphere Launcher and Warp Disruption Field range? It doesn't. Here you would go for the Warp Disruptor optimal range. And that's kind of the point here. You pick the one that you want. And yes, it's not combat! So anyone who comes at me complaining that, oh, the new nanocore sucks for Interceptors, no, it doesn't. If you actually want to use your Interceptor as an Interceptor, it's bloody powerful. Like Vetamune and I were talking about this, and the additional range that can get on a Warp Disruptor is terrifying if you want to actually use it as an interceptor, because now you can easily lock a target down from well outside their scram range, which is just, or in some cases even disruption range. It's amazing for actual interceptor. It just, to me, I'm hoping this means we might see interceptor nerf soon. We also have an industrial ship, Dark Halo, for things like the Bestower, the Sigil, the Badger, the Tyra, the Cryos, the Nereus, the Wreath, and the Mammoth. And if we look at these again, these are typical industry ones, normal cargo hold capacity, special cargo hold capacity, and warp speed all being applied there. Special cargo hold capacity, I'm not sure if I'd ever go for that, because if you're getting additional normal hold capacity, that also plays off your rigs, and it just gives you a bigger hold anyway that can fit anything. So a Mammoth with 18% bigger normal holds that's also got cargo hold boosters on it, cargo hold rigs on it, you're going to be able to fit more ore that way than if you just went for the special hold ore capacity. I kind of think that the developers talked about how specialized bonuses on a nanocore should be higher percentage than ones that are more generic. And here I do think that that should then mean that we get a 21% increase to special cargo hold capacity rather than 18, because the clue's in the name, it's a specialised bonus. But hey, it's nice that those are there, especially since if you're going for the advanced, or the advanced Concord Pass, you're going to get a Mammoth skin. So if you're a Mammoth pilot, this is a pretty cool thing for you. We then have a Battlecruiser Thermomagnetic Storm Nanocore box, so if you were worried that you've missed out on the Thermomagnetic Storm cores, they are here still. You just have to buy them in a box, and then you choose which one you want: the Prophecy, the Ferox, the Drake, the Myrmidon, the Hurricane, or the Cyclone. And then, of course, we have the Battleship variant as well, giving us the Apocalypse, the Abaddon, the Armageddon, the Rock, the Raven, the Scorpion, the Megaton, the Hyperion, the Dominix, the Tempest, the Maelstrom, and the Typhoon. I'm glad, because I'd like to actually start flying a Typhoon on one of my alts soon. I'm glad that Battleship box is still available for me to get that. And then the Thermomagnetic Storm 2 core supply box for industrial ships: Retriever, Procurer, Coveter, and Nereus. Now, there are no green or blue nanocores this time around here on the Concord store. These are all purple nanocores. Please remember that purple nanocores are untradeable. There is no way to pass these between people. So have a look at the ones you want to aim for, go for those, and then start building them up. I think there are some things we can talk about in nanocores. I'm not going to go into depth in this video. But I think if we're going to go for RNG to actually help you level up your nanocores, it kind of sucks that some of the items that you would use to build up your nanocore are only available really in the CONCORD Pass, and I'm hoping we get those added more to events and things like that in future, or just an actual general way of getting them in the game as well. It'd be really cool, I thought, as an idea. Someone suggested to me recently on the DevFAQ video this week that one interesting way to spice up ratting might be to add in a rare spawn elite mob, something that just comes in occasionally. Like occasionally when you're questing in something like World of Warcraft, there are elite spawns, and they're a little bit tougher to kill, but they drop some really cool loot. It would not be required to complete the mission, like it would stay there between waves, and if you complete the mission without killing it, it's still there, but it could drop some really cool loot. I would love to see possibly even things like the Imicus and all of that you get at the end of certain anomalies actually just spawn in and occasionally drop nanocore supply materials. That, to me, would be a really interesting way to help get some more nanocore materials into the loot pool. Anyway, folks, that, I think, does wrap up everything here I wanted to say in regards to this season's Concord Pass. I'm really excited about this. Yes, the artwork is absolutely awesome. Yes, there's a whole ton of skill points, a whole ton of nanocore upgrades. We're getting faction nanocores. We're getting actual interception nanocores as well that give interceptors their proper bonus, which, again, as I say, I hope is precluding an actual nerf for them. I really like this one. I think they've learned everything they needed to learn from the battle passes previously. They've fixed a lot of it. They've weighted it heavier towards the free side now. Yes, you still get a lot when you go into the paid version, but if you're a free player, you're getting more than ever before on these battle passes. They're pulling that weighting toward the free side of things, and I'm all for that because it means players who are unable to buy the battle pass can still enjoy a whole ton of awesome extra stuff. My only downside is that I really think that the Merlin Yule Envoy skin is probably the least exciting thing you could ever put into a battle pass here, but hey, there we go. I'm sure someone in the comment section down below is going to challenge me and go, well, actually, I think it would be even less exciting if they put this skin or whatever, but hey, I don't know, I really like this one. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I want to know what you guys are going to be aiming towards in the Concord store, and what you think about this particular battle pass. I absolutely love it. Love to hear your opinions. Otherwise, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden!